It's Wednesday, 22nd of April, so I've had a night to sleep on the news I got yesterday, and yeah, it's just I just want to kind of record really feelings and thoughts throughout this period. First of all, I'd like to say that this is the lymph node that the cancer is attacking, and this is the only part where I've got it in my body. I don't have any symptoms. I went to New Zealand for 5 weeks in February, March, and I did loads of exercise and lots of different activities. So it hasn't really, I haven't had any effects from it. So it was only actually noticed by a friend, I don't know, maybe early January time. So I just thought it was a fatty lump, which is what the doctor thought it was, and then said, well, maybe we should get a sound test on it. And so I had that booked in when I got back from New Zealand in March, and they did a biopsy as well because the sound scan didn't actually show anything decisive. And yeah, from the biopsy we had the result. When I got the result, it was a telephone call because the Nova virus is actually currently with us at the moment. I had a phone call from the doctor who said it was bad news. I was pretty much shocked and thought, oh my god, I'm going to die, as one does. And I was a bit tearful. I'm 66, and I thought, oh no, I've got too much life in me. I'm a pretty active person, and have lots of interests and lots of people that I love. But my family and friends did some research, which I didn't want to do. Actually, I didn't want to know, and they said yes, it's one of the most treatable conditions of a cancer that you can have. So it's Hodgkins Lymphoma, which is what I've got, which is blood cancer. So that's what it is. And 90%, well, it depends on the figures, but 90% of people get through the treatment. So I then became quite happy. My mood lifted on that day from being crashing from the phone call and being really depressed to, oh, this isn't so bad, this is cool. So I've actually taken the attitude that if it took 6 months of chemotherapy and not going out, that's what it's going to take. You have to kind of do these things to basically get through and live, isn't it? It's as simple as that. So the news I got though yesterday was 2 months, could take 3 months, but that's just 2 weekly visits. Slightly apprehensive, obviously, to what the side effect's going to be, but nobody actually knows. They give you a list. I've got a lot of documentation here, and they were very good. A bit of counselling after seeing the consultant, and there's a lot of things that the body might react to, many ways, but it depends on the individual and then on the body. The worst thing for me is I'll probably lose my hair, but yes, sickness and other things as well. And at this current time, I did start to feel that with the Nova virus out there, that I really must stay in and not go even for a walk. Even if I go for a walk and don't see anybody, for hundreds of meters, I need to stay in now because I am extremely high risk, and I will be even more once the treatment starts, with my white blood cells fighting the cancer. I don't need it to be fighting anything else, and if it's Nova virus, then I probably wouldn't get through it at all. I have to be aware of any cuts or infections I might get, so I have to be very careful with that as well, because again, we don't want the blood cells to be fighting something else when it should be working to kill the cancer. So yeah, it just kind of makes you suddenly realise that I'm 66 and I've got I want to have another 20 years of lots of activity with friends, and it just kind of brings it home a little bit. But I've always been one to live for today and to make the most of my life every day, which is what I do. And fortunately for me, my personality is outgoing, but I have a lot of interests. So I've got lots of video editing to do from my holiday. I have oil paintings, which I'm working on at the moment. I like reading. There's a lot of things that I will keep myself occupied doing over the next 9 weeks. I'm expecting to get an appointment next week, which is when I'll do my next video update. To once I've done the day of treatment. In the meantime, I have a very good friend here, and she is looking after me in the way of shopping. She's going to take me to and pick me up from the hospital for the treatment, and that's every 2 weeks. I have a mascot here from my partner, and this little one, I would call him Kwan. He's going to look after me and be my lucky charm. My lucky mascot basically is a tiger, so he's got all the energy and fighting spirit, which is what I've got basically. So yeah, just makes it kind of brings it home to you when you get something like this in the way of the bad news. And the bad news is not so bad in a way that if I get through this in 2 months and I lose my hair and I'm not feeling great during the days maybe, that's it. I'm not having operations, I'm not having surgery, and it's not as bad. That's how I feel at the moment. I'm quite confident. If it got worse, if there are more bad news along the way, then I'll have to take that as it comes. But at the moment, I feel that it's probably not going to be so bad. So yeah, that's my feelings at the moment. Lockdown, not going out other than the hospital for 9 weeks is going to be, I would say tough, but we've already had 4 weeks of shutdown, and I've been out for the odd days for exercise. So I've pretty much got used to it, and I think a lot of things in life are mind over matter, where you just accept the situation and get on with it. And if it means I have to do a little bit of exercise here and not go out, then so be it. It's not the end of the world, and I always feel that people around the world have got worse situations than me. So this may be blood cancer, it may not sound great, and many people are supporting me online. Lots of friends that I've met on my travels over the last couple of years are there for me, which is really great. But there's people in worse situations than me. I mean, those people with novavirus who don't know if they're going to get through this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I will, because they can treat this. But with those people with the virus, they don't know if they're going to die. So I'm not in such a bad position, really. Anyway, next update after my surgery, after my treatment. I'll tell you how I feel and tell you what happened and where we go from there.